How's it going, y'all? My name is Greg Raj, aka Popular Paladin, and this is gonna be a different video. Normally I make montage videos, but I figured I might as well. Now's the right time to make this. I'm only gonna do one take, minimal cuts. But yeah, I only have like 6 bullets talking about this. I was gonna use Grok to kind of write out a script for this video, but I'm just gonna talk candidly. It's gonna really be about my life and try to, relate to my viewers in that way. So, a little bit about me. I'm 30 years old, currently working in finance. I can't say much more. I live in the Northeast with roommates, and I'm black. I think that's important to mention. I grew up relatively wealthy, and my dad like kind of took care of everything. But when I was 12, my parents divorced, and then that was just kind of, the big divide to things. And then it was suddenly, well, have your mom pay for X, Y, and Z, even for my contacts, and it was just ridiculous. Everything was split accordingly, but except for custody, so at least that was good. But I was raised in the South. I was born in Chicago and raised in Atlanta, and yeah, that's all I'll really say about that. So yeah, talking a bit about work. Work has been tumultuous for me, I want to say, over just kind of since I've graduated. I started working at the company that I interned at for 2 summers, and this was in Chicago. And so I was their last analyst onboarded in 2020 when COVID happened. And, I was in investment banking, and people don't really understand what that is, or like they just know that it's long hours. But for me, since I was the last person on the team, they just didn't have much to give me, and things were just tightened up. I was really just on the morning calls and then waiting for work to be given to me, essentially. So I would just have days where I would wake up, everyone was fully remote, jump on the morning Skype call. That's when Skype, rest in peace, Skype, um, and be a part of those 30-minute calls. Then check in with all the associates. If nothing was for me, my day was done by 10, and I was playing Apex in my apartment. It was like the good old days of Apex, anyway. So yeah, and then so that was for 10 months, and then the head of that department was like, you know what, we think we think you'd be better suited in operations, and so I've been in operations ever since then, and it's kind of been a bit of a whirlwind. I've worked at multiple companies as a consultant, and up until 2024, I had to go through an extensive job search. I applied to over 500 jobs and managed to get something full time as a senior associate. And I was super proud of myself. It only took me a month, and I was just like really excited about the opportunity. And I was with that company up until this year. I went to Thailand, I went to Asia for the first time, and it was incredible. For anyone that hasn't traveled out of the States, I definitely recommend that country specifically for the first time going to Asia. It might be harder to navigate places like China or Japan. It's generally more expensive. Thailand's a beautiful country. I totally recommend it. And I chose Thailand because I do Muay Thai and just read about the culture and the history. Was fascinated by the history. So in any case, I got back from my 2-week vacation, which was approved, and there were some delays getting back. I live in the Northeast, and we had this crazy ice storm, so I was delayed by a few days. I was letting my team know. I put in like my sick days to kind of like take off those days, and so I got back, and the day of, they let me know I was let go, essentially. And it was just kind of like a shocker, but it was like one of those moments where I couldn't even be mad. It was just like, okay, I don't have to do what I was doing. And I shut the laptop, and I literally spent the rest of the day playing video games. Like, I just decompressed. Like, I didn't give a fuck, honestly. Like, it was just one of those moments, like, okay, what's next? And so I took a few days to just kind of gather myself. I didn't really spiral at all, and I'm working now, and so that's great. I love my job. It's amazing, and I don't know. I'm just being careful about my details and everything for anyone that watches this, but my job, what I do is incredible. I do a lot, and it's very complicated stuff. But yeah, that's really all I'll say about that within operations, right? So yeah, that's pretty much about work. And now about the next component of this video is friends and so my social life. I'd say I have a decent social life. I've got like 2 close friends that I hang out with from time to time. We go skateboarding, we play pool, or we get together and play Smash and just chill out. So, so that's cool. I met them 2 years ago, actually, on Bumble for Friends, which I'd highly recommend for mainly for guys, and I guess for some women too, but mainly for guys. If you've just graduated and you don't have close friends from college where you're working or living, and you're like 23, 24 through like basically my age, I would definitely recommend it. I'm pretty sure the quality was better when I started back then. And yeah, I mean, it's just probably the best avenue you can meet people outside of like organizations, intramural sports, or just like sports that I do like Muay Thai. So that's all I'll really say about that. And when I guess like my other friend group, it's more just like acquaintances. Like I met this guy, and he's really cool. But it's like just a quick example. So we've known each other for a couple of years, and this guy was like a senior engineer at Meta. He was making over $500,000 a year, right? Dude was like banking it. And he recently left his job, and he's in the job search right now. And so I was like, all right, dude, well, like, because I ran into him in the gym like a month ago randomly. And I'm like, yeah, we should totally hang out, play some pool with the guys. And he's like, yeah, for sure, bro. So like I followed up on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, are you down to hang out on Saturday? And he's like, totally. So then literally last night I messaged him, and he goes, oh, dude, I don't know if I can, just like stuck in the job search. And I'm like, all right, I guess. So, you know, I feel like that group of friends is more just acquaintances, as hard as that is to say. And that's just kind of the realistic bit of growing up. Like, you have your personal or your close friends that you've been close with since childhood, if they manage to stick around. You have your friends from college, which I talked to my bro Sim, and he's chill. Like, he's literally like my best friend from college. And I talked to a few other dudes that I had class with and keep up with their lives. They're pretty cool. But at the end of the day, right, as you're getting older, you're finding that a lot of these people start like getting into relationships and having families, and no one reaches out to you, right? Like, I just say that with a little frustration. I call everyone in my life, and it's just, you know, like, I know, like, eventually they're going to pick up, right? Because it's not like I'm a ghost, I'm not a stranger, and they feel bad that they don't pick up. But it's like, I literally reach out to everyone. So it's just, I wish, you know, some people did that with me more. But it is what it is with that. So that's really about the social. Now let's talk about the juicy bit with dating. And I'll keep this short and sweet. But dating in 2026, yeah, it's cooked. For anyone that's seen any form of videos talking about this topic, yeah, it's cooked. Like, considering that, like, I consider myself pretty good looking. Like, I'm 175, I'm almost 6'2". Like, you could call me a Jamal light, right? Or fuck that. I would say I'm a Jamal, right? I would say on average, for most people, on a good day, I'm probably an 8. As superficial as that sounds, I'm not like biased to my own horn or anything. Like, I legit think I'm pretty good looking. And what I'm running into are these women. I get constant matches on the apps, and like, I'll message them or whatever, and like half of them won't even respond. They just like to like guys. It's like collecting Pokemon cards for them. And then the ones that do end up responding, it's like you capture their attention in a bottle or in a vacuum. And so my thing is to just message them a few messages and then lead up to a date. And it's like you gotta kind of be smooth in the opener to get their attention to begin with, not just, hey, how's it going? How's your week going? And like sounding like a doofus, right, to these women. And so I finally get around to asking them out, and then they just soft ghost me. Like, they stay matched with me, but they just ignore me. And I'm like, okay, on to the next, I guess. Like, I'm not bothered in any sense because I know I'm going to get another match. It's just kind of silly to me how you're on this fucking app, and then when the guy comes to asking you out, you just flat out ignore him. Like, sure, all right, I guess it makes it easier for the women that are genuinely interested in me, especially the very good-looking ones, for me to just be that much more connected with them. So I'm not all too worried about that. I know, like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be fine. At least if something happens this year. Now, if nothing happens that like turns into something like a relationship, then I might revisit this like in another video and just be like, hey, like, I guess it just didn't work out. And I guess what I'm most afraid of, and this is what I'll close on the topic of dating, I'm most afraid of becoming this guy in finance with like a shitload of money. I'm like a vice president or something, and I have like a net worth of like $1.5 million. And then it's like, okay, I'm experiencing the same thing I experienced now, except all these women just want to date me for money and status. And like, I'm like a very genuine guy. I'm forward thinking about my future, a family. Like, ideally, I want to have kids in a few years. Like, I feel like social media is really and society is pushing everyone, not just women, but everyone, to just not have kids. And I feel like that's just not how life should be. Like, you're raised by your parents. Like, you wouldn't be here if you didn't have your parents. So that's just kind of my whole opinion on that. So yeah, onward from dating, and now hobbies, right? So I'm into a lot of things. I mentioned I do Muay Thai. I've been doing that for a couple years. I love to paint, and most people like say like, I'm trying not to generalize, but like when they mention something like that, they just kind of like, they just dabble in it, or they do a paint and sip, and they just say it just to be performative. I've actually been doing this for 3 years now, and it's just a very cathartic activity for me. I probably have over 40 paintings, and I feel like I've developed a style. I like to paint on like 11 by 14 inch canvases, so it's probably like the perfect size as far as like storage and just idea space and being able to show people. And so I really enjoyed that. I make videos, of course. And on that, real quick, I've literally been making videos since I was in middle school. No capping. Like, my first video was about Fallout 3 and a glitch in the game on how to get Fox and Charon. And it still works to this day. I tried it on my most recent playthrough, but it's harder now to execute. But I believe it still works. I like to make montages, of course, and I have a few ideas about that. One with like beating games and having segments of that. One of my favorite videos I've made so far is beating Minecraft. I feel like most people, they just play to build their own thing, and they just kind of drop it. But for me, Minecraft's a very like end goal oriented game of just like gathering your materials, building your castle, and then finally defeating the Ender Dragon. So I do that. I skateboard, but I'm not really good. I just kind of like use skateboarding to get around, and I guess I'm engaged in a few other hobbies, but I'll just keep it at that. But like with skateboarding, right? And this is kind of like the ultimate irony in life is people will tell you to pursue what you love and what you enjoy doing, But then when it comes to skateboarding, there's like a hard cutoff. You're not allowed to skateboard at 30. It's considered cringe, especially if you're a professional. Oh, you can get hurt or whatever. And it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not really wearing a helmet. I'm just kind of riding to get around places. But yeah, like I don't give a fuck about what other people think in terms of like me skateboarding. I'm just literally gonna do it until I probably get super injured or until I have a kid, and then it's like, okay, I don't want to get injured. That's what makes the most sense to me. So stick with your hobbies. For anyone out there, stick with it if you truly enjoy it, because it really does keep you away from just mindless shit like constantly scrolling social media, scroll it like reels, TikToks. Like, I just think all that stuff is mindless. And yeah, like I read here and there, but it's mostly just kind of interacting with AI as far as like that sort of reading is concerned, keeping up with the news and whatnot. So yeah, I've kind of been talking a bit now, and just kind of closing with my final thoughts. I I want to keep making videos, but at the same time, I'm not going to be this channel that just pumps out videos. I've seen some channels that literally have like a few hundred videos, and they only have maybe 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. Like, the goal of this channel isn't to make money by any means. It's essentially just to keep my hobbies in gaming alive, and to sometimes make life update videos. Just kind of overlaying my voice over a segment of footage. Like, I'm gonna put this over my cyberpunk footage, and yeah, it's just something I really enjoy doing, and it's like I'm gonna continue. If I'm not gonna continue making videos, I'm definitely gonna continue gaming until I die. Like, that's just something that I've come to a hard realization lately, is like, I enjoy this hobby, and no one's gonna take that away from me. Like, my kids won't take that away from me. My wife certainly won't take that away from me. So that's just that. So with all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.